Alright, so I'm going to do this using the new iPad mini. This is the iPad mini 4. I downloaded Anchor, I've got everything set up. All I'm going to do is hit the little record button and record. And we're going to see how this works, okay? So, here goes. Well, hello and thank you again for listening to Stuff I Heard. This is your host, Josh Peak. Today, I always tell you the date. I don't know why I do that. It's going to be one of those things you're going to be like, God, we get it, dude. You've said the date. Today is Saturday, August the 4th. I just got back from going to Charlotte, North Carolina. My wife has a sister who, weirdly enough, they kind of look like twins. They're not twins. They're a couple years apart. But anyway, her sister had a birthday on Friday. And we got a phone call from her husband who said, hey, I got some tickets for us to go see Janet Jackson in concert in Charlotte if you guys want to go. Well, yeah, that'd be really cool, thanks. So, we got together and we decided, let's do it. So we booked a hotel room. We actually both booked a room next to each other. We were able to contact the hotel and say, hey, is there a way that we could, have these rooms with adjoining rooms if possible? And at the time, the lady said, well, we don't have anything available, but if something opens up, I'll let you know, which was really cool of her. So anyway, we had gone ahead and had things set up for this. I took the day off of work. My wife worked like a half a day, and we were able to go to Charlotte, get checked into our hotel, and we went to the concert last night. Now, I would not be what you'd consider a Janet Jackson superfan, considering the fact that I have purchased one of her tapes years ago. I know right now you're hearing the word tape, and a lot of you are young enough to not know what tapes are, or even barely know what CDs are. Back in the day, we used to buy music on tapes. You put them in a cassette player and listen to them. And I, for some reason, I don't even remember why, had gotten a hold of her first tape. And I thought it was pretty cool. I think at the time, MTV was how we consumed new music. And they had put out a video with her. I think the first song was either Control or Nasty. One of those two songs. But anyway, I dug it. I thought it was cool. I bought her tape. And I listened to it over and over again. It was pretty cool. I was a big fan of Michael Jackson at the time, and she was a Jackson kid, and so she was talented. I guess old Joe Jackson just harped on them about talent all the time and constantly had them working. And she was no exception. She was really good at what she did, and still is. We got to the venue. It was raining cats and dogs kind of off and on all day getting there. There were clouds that were moving in big waves coming through, and we were not sure if we were going to be able to get to the concert or get to be able to see her. We were kind of thinking, well, if this gets washed out, we'll at least go out and have a good dinner, and we'll hang out, and we'll find something to do. They're sisters, and they like each other, so they're going to spend time together the right way. But anyway, we got to the venue. It was at the PNC Bank Arena or Amphitheater in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the venue looks real nice. The venue was we had lawn access seating. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, I'll show a picture of what this looks like on that screen. This is the panoramic view. Can you see that on the camera? Yeah. So this is why you want to watch the YouTube video. You can check this out on YouTube at Joshua Peak on YouTube. And I'll show you a picture of the crowd here. This is me and my wife and her sister and her husband Charles. Her sister's name is Cindy. Anyway, so we went to the venue. The clouds were looking like they were starting to clear up. I was like, yay, you can see the clouds above. Oh yeah, look there, clouds are moving out. And we did get a little bit wet, but we had good seating on the lawn. There was a place to rent chairs, and we rented our chairs and we got set up, and the concert was fantastic. She played all of her hits and a bunch of the stuff that it would be considered her new stuff. You can tell she has a lot of awareness for what's going on right now socially in America, and she wanted to address it. She wanted to talk about, like, the very beginning setup was a discussion, sort of, not a discussion, a production, I should say, of kind of the social climate of our country right now. About, it doesn't matter if you're black or white or whatever. What matters is the fact that you're willing to accept one another and care for one another. And I've preached that over and over again. I know you guys are probably sick and tired of me talking about it, but here's a woman who has a platform, and she decided to use it for this, which I thought was awesome. I thought, hey, absolutely, if you're gonna take a stance on this kind of stuff. And I looked her up online. She's 52 years old. She apparently just had a kid recently, and good for her. She looked great. She danced her butt off the entire show. I want to say she was on stage for probably 2.5 hours. It was really impressive. I was real taken back. But we had a good time. It did not rain. The clouds actually cleared up. It ended up being a beautiful starry night. At a certain point, I looked up and I saw what I'm only guessing is either a firework or a shooting star that was fizzling out, because it came over us and then just kind of disappeared. And I was like, whoa. No, I don't think anybody saw it but me. I kept looking to see if there was more of them, because usually if it's like a meteor shower, you can see a bunch of them, but this was just one. So I'm guessing it's probably a firework of some kind that somebody had shot off. But anyway, we had a good time. The venue was really nice. It was comfortable. Everybody was there kind of having a good time. We had a lot of people dancing around us. There was a lady that was maneuvering herself further and further in front of me from her crowd on the right. And the more she moved over and danced, the more she was getting closer and closer to whacking me in the face with her hands, because she was all over the place and boogieing down. She was having a good time, but I kept thinking, all right, now if you hit me, I'm not gonna be nice. I'm gonna get your attention, and I'm probably gonna make you cry a little bit. But she was good. She didn't whack me, and so everybody was happy. Nobody got yelled at. I had a good time with it though. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with much of Janet's new music, but I did like a good bit of it. I probably won't go out and buy it just because I'm not, like I said, I'm not that kind of fan. I guess back in the day, I did like Rhythm Nation a lot, and I put that on the intro of this podcast because of the fact that I did enjoy it so much when it was out. But again, I didn't purchase it at the time, because if you wanted to hear it, all you had to do was turn on MTV. It was always on, or turn on your radio, because it was always on. So, at the time I was like looking for music to purchase, and money was tight, and I thought, well, there's one I don't need to buy because it's always on. And so, I'm sure she's doing fine. She probably don't need the money going out to a concert in Charlotte, North Carolina on a random Friday night, but it was a good show. I think she did it more for social consciousness. I think she wanted to bring awareness about things in her new album that had to do with, learning to communicate better. She did one dance with a song where it looked like it was about abuse in a relationship. There was like a skit being put on by a couple of the dancers where it looked like the guy was abusive and the girl had enough, and she seemed to be very emotional singing about it. And sometimes music is how you get across ideas to your fan base. And maybe this was something that she lived through, maybe it was something that she saw, or maybe it's something that's around her enough that she was like, I feel inspired to talk about this, or at least make some music around it. So good for her. That was really cool. Like I said, we had a great time. I did not drink. I drove. I'm sticking to this keto diet thing. I know it's probably depressing to a lot of people, because every time we went out to eat at TGI Fridays, and I had to scan the menu for something that I could eat, and I did find something. I found they had a Cobb salad with some grilled steak on it, and it was delicious. I enjoyed it immensely. today we went out to the Cheesecake Factory. Ooh. We don't have a Cheesecake Factory here in my little town of Florence, South Carolina, but there is one in Charlotte. And today when we checked out of our hotel, we went straight there, and it was good. It was very tasty. I had, what did I have today? Oh, I had breakfast today because it's Saturday and I could have brunch. So I had an omelet, what they call California omelet. So it had stuff like avocado in it and tomatoes and some little spices and garlic and whatnot. And Charles had something, and he had like a lemongrass arugula mixture on top of his thing. He's like, I don't eat this. I put it on mine and I ate it, and it was delicious. And then I think everybody had ordered, like my wife had ordered tomatoes and I had tomatoes, so I just cut all the tomatoes up and I ate all the tomatoes with my egg because I like tomatoes. Yay. But anyway, you know, the diet thing is going well with that. I want to talk a little bit about our hotel room. We stayed at the Courtyard by Marriott up there, and I don't know, it's near where Charlotte Motor Speedway is. I can't remember the exact address. But you know, like I said, I had talked to them on the phone about possibly getting an adjoining room, and they were accommodating. When we did go to check in, I asked about it again because I was like, at least, you know, can we at least be in rooms near each other? Because these two are sisters, and they're going to want to talk a lot. And the guy's like, oh no, we got adjoining rooms. I was like, really? Oh, cool. So we went to go check into our room, and we had a king size bed, and we did have an adjoining room. And when I went into the bathroom, apparently it was one of those handicap access bathrooms. And I know that kind of stuff is really important nowadays, and I'm hoping we didn't take it from somebody who had it scheduled. I'm sure we didn't. They would have made sure that if somebody was handicapped, they would have gotten their room. But we got a handicap access bathroom that did not have a lip between the shower area and the rest of the bathroom. I mean, literally, when you walk in the door, there's a sink, there's a toilet, and then there's just floor all the way across. And the shower's right there, and there's a curtain. But it's like, you can kind of tell that once you turn that shower on, that water's going to go everywhere, and it did. We were hesitant to use it because we knew water was going to go everywhere. There's two drains in the bathroom. There was one where the drain's supposed to be in the shower area, and then there's another drain kind of in front of the sink where you brush your teeth. So you figure with two drains like that, the floor is made so that water drains into the shower area, and then for the rest of it, it leans more towards the other drain. So of course, I took a shower whenever we got back from the concert last night because I wanted to get the dirt off my feet and the sweat off my legs from being outside. I felt like I had gnats like nibbling at my skin here and there, and I felt achy. I wanted a shower. So I showered. Water got kind of everywhere. They did a good job of trying to regulate that stuff, but it is hard to regulate. But anyway, I got good and cleaned up. They had these new pump things that are attached to the wall with like shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. The shampoo stuff had eucalyptus in it, and it smelled great. I started washing my hair, and I could smell it, and I was like, oh, this is great. So like I washed my feet with it too, because I thought this will be nice on my feet. And it was nice. The body wash stuff had some kind of lemongrass scent, and I was like, cool, you know, lemony. I liked it. I liked the hotel. The people there were really friendly. Every time I went up to talk to somebody at the front desk, they were super helpful. Like my wife likes to have like a thing of ice at night. That way, anytime during the night she wakes up, she can have some ice water. So I go to looking for the ice machine, and normally that stuff is like in the hallway or near the register area. There's like a thing with a vending machine and an ice machine. This place was not like that. They had it somewhere else, but the guy was very helpful. He's like, oh, I'll get you some, and he disappeared somewhere, and he comes back with some ice. And I was like, okay, thanks, man. So I liked Courtyard by Marriott. They did a good job. The room was quiet and clean. The bathroom was a little weird, but I get the fact that we were in a handicap access bathroom, so I'm not going to be super critical of that. But yeah, we had a good night. It was wonderful. Today, like I said, we got up and we went to Cheesecake Factory at the, is it called South Park Mall? Yeah, South Park Mall, because we kept making jokes about South Park. Anyway, so we went And I got to tell you, we've gone to this mall before to try and eat at the Cheesecake Factory, and there's always a line that's at least a couple of hours long. And we waited it out one time, and we walked away a couple of times because we were like, you know, you get up there and you're hungry, and you're like, you know, oh, we'll get on the list. It might be, what, 30 minutes or so? And they're like, yeah, it'd be 2.5 hours. You're like, no, I'm not waiting 2.5 hours. That's ridiculous. So you get up and you leave. So this time I wanted to go there when they get there for lunch, and so we got out of the room at about 11. We got there about 11:30 and had no problem sitting down. I mean, I literally walked in, told them, hey, party at 4, and they were like, okay, hang on just a second. And they had some little gal grab up the stuff, and she's like, all right, follow me. And our lunch was great. Our server was great. His suggestions were great. We had a good time at lunch. And we went to the mall so that my wife could go look at this place called Brighton. They make this like stainless steel type jewelry, and they have leather bags and that kind of stuff. And she likes some of their earrings because it's not as expensive as buying like gold or silver or anything like that. It's stainless, but it's pretty and it's shiny, and they, you know, they do kind of fun little tricks with like crystal stuff mixed in, so it looks all blingy. But she picked out some cool stuff that she wanted. I was able to find a blanket that I could use as a throw blanket. It looks like sheepskin on one side, and then on the other side it's real smooth. It is very comfortable. Like I sat on a couch where it was at, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And I kept rubbing it, and I was like, I really like this. And I was looking at one blanket, and one blanket was like $130. I was like, whoa. And I wasn't going to pay $130, but I was curious. I was like, how much is this? And I couldn't find a price tag anywhere. And we searched all over that place. I think we were at, not Cracker Barrel. What's it called? Crate and Barrel? No, not Crate and Barrel. What's the store with all the stuff in it? Pier 1. Yeah, Pier 1. So we were at Pier 1. Sorry, I didn't mean to discredit Cracker Barrel or Crate and Barrel, but we were at Pier 1. And I looked around, found a lady. As I'm finding the lady to ask her how much the thing was, my wife comes out of nowhere and she's like, hey, I found one. And she goes, it's cheaper than you thought. And I was like, okay. So on the price tag it said 99 bucks, but it also said that there was a sale, like something like 30% sale or something like that. So anyway, long story short, after taxes it ended up being like just over 70 bucks. And I was like, you know what? I could use this. I will use this. I know I will use this, because there's times where I want a blanket and I don't want to mess with my wife. She's got a couple of blankets that are real like user friendly for her because of the size. I'm a bigger guy. I need something a little bit bigger. This will work out nice. So anyway, my wife was like, hey, let's get it. So I was like, yeah, let's get it. So I got me a nice blanket. We went looking some more through the mall. We went down to Nordstrom's. I don't know that I've ever been in a Nordstrom's, but we were looking around and I was like, oh, look, a men's section. I walked over to the men's section and started looking at this shirt, and I was like, oh, this is a pretty shirt. And I looked at the price tag and it was $160 for this shirt. And I was like, never mind. And I put the thing back and I walked away slowly. Now, the fact that it was $160 spooked me a lot, because that is way too much for a shirt, considering the fact that when I went to the concert the night before, I was wearing a $5 shirt that I got in Walmart, and I thought it was really nice, because that's how I was raised. You find you a good deal on a cheap shirt, and it looks nice, and you're sort of proud of the fact that you found a good deal. That being said, we later walked by Banana Republic and saw a shirt that was a bit pricey. Let's just say it was over $100, and my wife convinced me to get it. Now, I'm not the kind of person that feels comfortable buying a shirt that expensive, but this is the but every now and then it's nice to get something nice for yourself. And my wife had found a couple of things at Lululemon at the mall. They make some kind of like athletic yoga type, running type clothing stuff that she likes. So she picked out a couple outfits there, and I think, honestly, I think she felt a little bit guilty for getting that stuff, and she was like, oh, I got all this stuff, and he didn't get nothing but that blanket. So, whatever. It is what it is. I got myself a nice shirt. It looks attractive. It's a Tommy Bahama shirt. It's very nice. It's very nice. And it's an extra large. I've been wearing 2X shirts for years now. and I haven't been able to fit in extra large shirts in quite a while, and this one fit comfortably. It was nice. So I got a nice shirt. My wife got a couple of outfits from Lululemon. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. The way it was written, I was like, Lulu. But I've heard people say it on like television shows and stuff, and they all pronounce it Lululemon. So, like I said, she got some outfits. I got a shirt. I got a blanket. It's all good. Yay! We did a little bit of shopping, and honestly, I had no plans on doing any shopping in there. But, I say but because I've been talking to her about purchasing a iPad mini for a while for the drone, for the podcast, for being able to have another device to edit videos on for YouTube. And you know, I can't always have access to my laptop. It's big and it's bulky, and you gotta have it plugged in a lot of times in order to use it for things, because it does drain the battery a good bit with as much stuff as I'm doing. Whereas if I had the iPad mini, it's small, it's compact, it's portable, I can have it with me, use it. Another thing is, like, I want to be able to use the app, the Anchor app that I'm using right now. I want to be able to use it without having people call me and lose my audio. I've talked about that before on a couple of my podcasts. If I use the app on my phone and I'm in the middle of recording, I'm like blah 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 blah, and somebody calls me, it loses my information, and that is so frustrating. Now, here's the thing. If I carry this iPad with me, because I'm recording this right now, the one you're hearing right now, I'm recording on this new iPad. If I record it on there, I've got all of the notifications turned off, I've got all of the messages turned off, I've got everything that's going to distract it turned off. So that the way this should work is I record this on it, and then I'm able to publish it from here through the Wi-Fi, and nothing interrupts it. Now, if this works, I'll be super happy. If this works, it'll be totally worth it. I am going to hook this up to the DJI tomorrow and try and do some drone stuff. But for right now, this is an experiment. If you're hearing this, I've rambled on and on about going to the concert and going shopping and all this other stuff. But hey, this is called Stuff I Heard, so technically this is stuff you heard. So I know for most people it's going to be like, oh great, we get to hear about his weekend. Yay. Alright, so granted, if you want to talk about stuff that I heard, I listened to a couple of podcasts this week. Let me click on my little podcast app so I can tell you what I listened to. I've been listening to, of course, Bert Kreischer talk to Zach Bitter about endurance running. And Zach Bitter is helping Bert get his run time down. He's giving him some tips and whatnot. I also listened to Second Chance Church by Perry Noble. On there, I listened to a couple of episodes. They're really good. There's an episode that came out on July 22nd. It's called Preparing for a Comeback. Really, really good story. He talks a little bit about his personal struggles with having a lot to deal with over losing his congregation. If you don't know, Perry Noble used to be the head pastor at New Spring Baptist Church. I don't know if you can call them Baptist. New Spring Church. Check them out at newspring.cc. They have their own website. They got all kind of past sermons available as videos. You can listen to them live whenever there's church going on. Perry was the founding pastor of that church, and a couple of years ago was let go from that church because they found out he had a drinking problem and he wouldn't get help, and apparently it affected his marriage too. He lost his job and he lost his marriage, and it was very unfortunate. But you know, a lot of times, this is one of the things he talked about, is a lot of times in your church, whenever you have troubles, is when the church turns on you and doesn't have your back and doesn't help you. And the whole idea for church is supposed to be about the fact that we help each other and that we overlook our shortcomings because we're all sinners and we all have problems. And he talks a little bit about he didn't know what he was going to do, but now, you know, he's starting another church, and it's called Second Chance Church. This is a really good podcast to listen to. They're short. They're usually about 40 minutes long. At the end of it, he always does You know, if you got saved, let me know, blah, blah, blah. If this was coming up next week, you could skip through that part if you don't want to listen to it. But you're going to get about a good half hour every week of a really good sermon. The one this past week was called Blessing in the Bubbles, Part 1. It's really good. Really, 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 really good. He's starting a series. I can't say enough about it. Perry's got a gift for speaking, for whatever personal flaws that he's had in his life. If nothing else, it's informed him about the fact that, listen, none of us are perfect. We all struggle. And here's a guy that at least has a gift for bringing people to Jesus. So whether you believe in Jesus or not, I highly recommend checking it out. It'll make you feel good about your life and kind of give you a little fire in your belly, point you in a direction. I do have another Leanne Kreischer's Wife of the Party to listen to. It's one called Girl Talk. I have not heard it yet. I'm going to. And Bert has another one I haven't listened to. It came out Thursday called Open Tabs. I want to listen to that too. I've been stockpiling things that I want to listen to because I've also been stockpiling things I want to watch. I can tell you what I did watch. I went down a hole recently and I watched Orange is the New Black Season 6. Holy crap, that is good. Listen, if you're not watching Orange is the New Black, do yourself a favor. Go back to the first season. Start watching it. Don't give up on it. It is awesome. In the beginning, they're teaching you who the characters are, what's going on with them. And, you know, if you know anything about Orange is the New Black, you've probably heard that Season 5, they have a prison riot. Well, Season 6, they get all moved into a maximum security prison. And holy crap, it's a whole new ball game. It's intense. There's a couple of actresses on this show that should get awards. There's a woman who plays this character called Crazy Eyes, Suzanne. She is amazing on screen. It's hard to believe that that's an actress. There's another lady who goes by the name Tasty. Tasty is amazing. Tasha, I think, is her real name on the show. But season 5, she should have got an Emmy for her portrayal as Tasty. It was incredible. I mean, do yourself a favor, like I said, go watch it. You won't be sad. I also watched Extinction with Michael Pena. It's on Netflix. That's a really, really, really good movie. There is a surprise ending that I do not want to give away, but if you watch Extinction, holy crap, it is so good. If you've seen it, drop me a line and let me know what you think about it. I was impressed. I was impressed with the fact that this was Michael Pena as a lead character. You know, in today's age, you're looking at the fact of, you know, he's Latino, he's a lead actor. He carries the whole movie because he's so good in it. And the script was good, the way they filmed it was good, the special effects were cool. I'm watching it, and at no point did I think, oh, they're doing all this on a Netflix budget. No. This was a big movie. They had some cool special effects, some cool stories. Good job, Netflix. You guys are killing it. And good job, Michael Pena. Holy crap, dude. I binge watched the latest season of The Ranch with Ashton Kutcher and Danny Matheson. And I know they had talked about the fact that they were going to write Danny Matheson out of the show because of an alleged rape that he had a bunch of years back. I'm kind of sad that he's leaving the show. I mean, obviously you can't have somebody like that continue on your network. I get it. But it was such a good show, and I hope it doesn't go away. I really, really like the characters in the show. I like the funny interaction between them. I really like the dad, Sam Shepard. Good job. Sam Elliott, not Sam Shepard, Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott's mustache should get its own credits. He should be able to negotiate a cost for how much it costs for him on the show and how much it costs to have his mustache on the show. I'm just saying. There we go. So, yeah. So I watched those. Really good. I also want to talk about some comedy that's on Netflix. I watched Eliza Schlesinger's newest special, The Older Millennial. And I've heard Eliza Schlesinger before on Bert's podcast. and I was really impressed. I thought she was hilarious. My wife was the one who had watched this special that she had on Netflix, and she was like, "You gotta listen to this. This is so good." I laughed my butt off the entire time, and I was like, "Really?" So I watched it, and it was great. I was really impressed with how much she can remember. You know, because I listen to comedians' podcasts, and they all talk about the fact that they have a you know, an act that they put on, a bunch of bits. You know, I got bits, I got stories, you know, I do my thing. And it's so flawless with her, and so fast, and so much dialogue, and not only that, but physical humor. There's things she's doing on stage where it's just like, how do you keep up with what you're going to do next? And I know it's just through repetition, and it's like a muscle. Kind of like this, kind of like being able to talk on the microphone or on camera. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And she's doing it. And good for her. I mean, I was impressed. After I watched it, my wife goes, "Hey, there's another one on there too. You need to watch the other one too that came out like a couple of years ago." So I went back and I watched the other one. It's even better than the one I just watched. Of course, maybe I'm thinking that because I just watched that one. Maybe if I'd have watched them in the other order, I would have said, this one's even better than that one. Both of them are great. I'm not going to take away anything from either one of them. You got to watch both of them. They're awesome. Very, very awesome. So, anyway. Sorry I bored you guys to death with that first part where I was talking about going to Janet Jackson. If you have the chance to see Janet Jackson, I mean, it's sort of like one of those living legend kind of things. You know, they say Elton John is on his last tour ever. Like, he's going to quit doing live music after this. I mean, because he's getting old. He's been doing it for a long time. If you had the opportunity to see Elton John, wouldn't you go see Elton John? That'd be pretty awesome to see Elton John. Just to say in your lifetime you saw him. I mean, when I passed, you know, when I was born, like, the Beatles weren't the Beatles anymore, okay? If you'd had the opportunity to see the Beatles when they were the Beatles, wouldn't that have been cool? You know, Michael Jackson, if you had a chance to see Michael Jackson before he passed away, wouldn't that have been a cool story to have, or a cool memory to have? Johnny Cash. I mean, you think about these mega influential people. I got to see Paul McCartney once, and I screamed like a little Beatles girl. I didn't even think I was going to enjoy the show, and before I knew it, this sound was coming out of me. I was like, "What is that sound?" I was like, "It's me!" I was just freaking out. I was like, "Ah!" Screaming like one of those girls on the show. It just, you kind of get the impact of the fact that this is a legend. So, if you have the chance to see her, go see her. You're going to have a good time. So, that's it for now. I'm going to do my my unsponsored commercial. I will say that if you have Netflix, be prepared. Be prepared. Bert Kreischer's got a special coming out August the 24th. It's called Secret Time. Secret Time. He's my favorite comedian. Go check him out. Tell him I sent you. Hey, I'd love to have Bert on the podcast. I'd love to be a guest on his podcast. That's never going to happen. Well, not with that attitude at least. So, I got to have a positive attitude. Positive attitude. I'm going to grow this thing till Bert's like, "Dude, I want to do your podcast." I'm like, "Great, let's do it." So, anyway. Hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I appreciate all the support. I'm going to try and keep this thing going. I'm going to try and help other people start their own. If you need help or tips on starting your own podcast, I have YouTube channels. You can check out my big channel. It's Joshua Peak on YouTube. Look for a hot rod in the background. It's 64 AMC Rambler, painted red, white, and blue with flames. And then check out the newest videos. And I got how-to videos, how to make a podcast, how to do this, how to do that. I got another YouTube channel called Stuff I Heard. I still haven't decided if I'm going to kill that channel or not. Every time I get ready to do it, One Lonely Farmer writes to me and he's like, "Hey man, don't do that. I like this channel." And he's a big deal on YouTube. If you don't know who he is, check him out on YouTube. One Lonely Farmer. This is an unpaid commercial. One Lonely Farmer. He's up there in Pennsylvania and he's farming and he makes videos all the time, and they're good videos. They're surprisingly good. I mean, considering the fact that I'm not a farmer and it's not my world, I have checked out his videos and I'm like, this guy's got a knack. He can talk to a camera. He can hold an audience. I'd like to have him on the podcast. Ooh, that'd be fun. Hey, One Lonely Farmer, if you're listening to this, buddy, reach out to me. We can do a podcast, man. I can help you start your own podcast. I mean, not that you need another thing to do, like me, or... Hey, I'm not doing enough. I'm farming, I'm making this, I'm making that, I'm doing this. Let's do a podcast, too. Manic. Is that the right word? Manic? Yeah. This feels kind of manic. But anyway, I'm going to end this now. I swear, this is it. You guys take care. Be good to one another. Tell Janet Jackson I said hey. I will put up a video on YouTube of the concert. I did take video. I know I'm not going to get monetized for it because it's copyright protected. I don't care. I'm just going to put up the video. You guys can click on it. You can watch what I saw. I recorded a good bit. And that's it. Take care. It worked. I recorded it on my iPad. Now I gotta just publish it. Did that? Come on, do your thing. It's doing the thing. It's the little button is. I guess what it's doing is like compressing the file or something, making it into an MP3. But it's gonna make it into an MP3, and then it's gonna be available. This little screen here is pretty handy. See right now, this little thing over here where I just recorded, it's a file. It's rolling around, and when it's done, it's gonna shift it over here. I got Rhythm Nation. Oh, look, see, it just happened. I got Rhythm Nation, I got a transition, and I got the episode I just recorded. I'm gonna go back in here into my transitions, and I'm gonna find the one that has something to do with. Ooh, this one's funny. Yay! Yay! We'll do yay at the end. And my mom likes the cow one. She says the cow one always cracks her up. See if I can find the cow. Is that alphabetical? Cow. Let's put the cow on there and we'll hit publish. And now I gotta title it. What should I title it? Episode 24. Janet Jackson. Netflix. Janet Jackson. Shopping. Netflix. Comedy. I don't know. I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna publish it. But the main thing is this worked. So, cool. Knowing is half the battle. That's what G.I. Joe taught me when I was a kid. Of course, I don't know if that's relevant. Anyway, thanks for watching.